you can only ignore something that's poking at you for so long. And I definitely feel like there's this energy where I'm trying to walk, trying to move forward. I feel like they're just poking at me, poking at me, poking at me. It doesn't feel like a literal experience. It feels more so like a spiritual, symbolic experience where I go to meditate and boom, they're there. Obviously, I feel like you recognize that there's more to heal or there's more to unearth about it. However, it just feels like, all right, your energy is clearly infiltrating mine. Why? If you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing just fine. I would lie and say that you're not on my mind. So they may appear one way. Their energy is showing up as the Fool, Aquarius energy, but also like going on their own journey, going through their own risks, taking their own leap of faith in their own direction, right? At the same time, I feel like there's a part of them that's hesitant, where it's like when you're about to start something new or really embody, and it could have been months since you guys have spoken. 10, the number 10, October is significant, also 10 months, 10 weeks. It could be a minute since you guys have, because I feel like we've had enough time separated or enough time apart to have difference or like experience things that we wouldn't know about each other unless we're like stalking each other. However, it's like we've had enough growth separately to where we don't really know each other anymore. Because you know the song, I don't know you, can't control you, fight with a kid for no reason. I'm so tired of you draining my energy, only up from here, keep that away from me. I don't even know you anymore, this feels different, something's missing. So yes, everything feels different, you don't even know them anymore. However, feels like, especially with the zero energy, starting something new, my dog trying to get in, starting something new does kind of come with like a hiccup where it's like, what, it's a risk, right? They may even feel like they're taking a risk. Maybe even now they have time to really focus or recenter or regroup on, I don't even want to say what you really meant to them, because I feel like that hasn't really ever left their mind. It feels more so like the reality of no longer being with you might be settling in or kicking in, but it's interesting because it always has. It just feels like the more time that passes, the weirder it gets for them. Interestingly enough, though, with you, I feel like you were dealing with this while you guys were together. You know, either you were back and forth a little bit, or you would kind of pull in and go out based on how they were acting and realizing that you couldn't really trust that they would hold their word or whatever it was. Your energy showing up to the Three of Pentacles. I feel like you've already been in motion in something new, fulfilling your own destiny, working and collaborating with other people, connecting to new energies. It reminds me of that one song, Ever Since I Left the City, You and me, we just don't get along, hotline bling. Hanging with some girls I've never seen before. So even collaborating with new energies, you could even have a new job, new career, something that's new that they have no idea about, but you guys still somehow know about each other. Either you're connected through family, because I'm hearing sisters could keep an eye on you, or they could just really love you, something to do with sister energy. It just, I feel like lately has been a little bit difficult, because it's like you think you know somebody, damn, I could have really liked you. On My Mind by Ellie Goulding. I just don't understand why I've got you on my mind. And I feel like you're spiritually connected, right? Very in tune. You know, okay, a lot of the times when things come up or memories come up, it's less about the person and more about myself, ready to unearth certain things. You could have even recognized like, okay, this is coming up because it's like that last resolving grief, or there's more grief that's finally processing out or clearing out. Maybe that's what it's for. However, I feel like the fact that their energy is so much more in yours, maybe there's even letting go of resentment towards them as well, because there's like this disappointment in them, and that might be something that is a common theme in your life, where they feel like a disappointment or they let people down. Because I feel like from your perspective, it's like, I never wanted to look at you like that, but I also can't help the fact that like this isn't fair and it didn't have to end up like this, and I no longer at 333 want to make excuses for that. I will say with spiritual practices and naughty thoughts, that makes sense actually. I never saw this before. Naughty thoughts with I love your body and I'm planning on messaging you soon. I feel stuck. Yeah, you could also feel that. I'm talking about you to others. See, I knew there was something. I'm going to keep pulling too, like shuffle as well. At the same time, I feel like you could even pick up on them, the O method. You know what I mean? Overstepping and kind of like violating your energy, not in, yeah, you can feel when someone's kind of infiltrating your energy unprovoked. You're not allowing that in. You're not, again, this would have been like a long-term relationship though, okay? So like this isn't like a situationship or anything like that. This is, even if it was, like you guys are technically in a relationship, whatever. Let me see what I'm standing at the door, but it won't close. So it's like hard. Why can't this close? I'm holding out hope for you to say don't go. Maybe there's a part of you too that hopes deep down that they'll right their wrongs. I'm having wild thoughts about you. I have a secret. It was reversed, so obviously something may have came to light about them. You also could have had a dream about them too that kind of showed, because I'm saying in my own dream that I had probably a week ago, and the person was coming to me telling me all these things that I was doing, and I was like, how did you know that? And they're like, how do you think? And I was like, okay. because they're a little witchy poo too in the best way. Like, they very intuitive. Anyway, I feel like they also didn't want to keep something a secret. I feel like they want you to know that there's still like a tie to you. However, it's just not healthy. Like, it's just not conducive for the healing. And this is where like the logical mind, or like the realistic part comes in, where it's like, what's the point of all this fantasy floundering? The thought of you drives me insane. You're all I think about when I'm alone and lost in my thoughts. What is the point? I feel stuck. Came out the bottom here. Yeah. Obviously, second house, belief, worth, value. 11th house, freedom, connection to friendships, groups, community. Could be the way that they live life, or the type of life that they lead, could be very different from your beliefs and your values. It may be difficult to have like a long-term connection with them, or set up something foundationally with them. I feel like there's a part of you that's like, I don't even want to be with them, but it's weird because like I care for them on a soul level so much that it's difficult. It's like one of those things where you can't rush, you know, you can't rush the process. You just kind of have to like move with it for what it is and accept it as it comes. I feel like now wouldn't be the time to like go seeking other relationships, especially with how this moved, just so you can give yourself the full closeout. You know, it's like if you try to speed read a book, you'll get the gist of it, but it won't hit you as deep. And I feel like with this, at least how this cycle is meant to close, or whatever relationship things that this was meant to bring up in each other, especially for you, it's not something that can be rushed. So even looking for a new, and I don't feel like you are looking for a new relationship. In fact, I feel like you have been keeping to yourself for a while, not hooking up with people, you know, like just keeping to myself. Might be different as well. I feel like you're going about this in a different way. I'm holding out hope for you to say, don't go. Why did you leave? Could be difficult too to even process that they're really gone. Maybe there was a part of you that thought you'd speak again, and it's like, we haven't. You have changed me reverse. Also, that's another thing too. They're the type of person who nothing's going to change them except for themselves, and they can't change for anything. They're not changing for themselves. I'm spying on you. It's like they have a guilty conscience, kind of like they want you to be happy, but then they also get pissed. I almost think working out a lot, loving your body going through major changes, even like getting bigger. You're feeling yourself out more. If they cause a lot of stress in the relationship, or you felt like you got really like frail, I definitely feel like you come back to yourself and you like are in this like full Venusian energy, no matter how you identify, just like this beauty, and you honor your body, you know? I feel like I am so much more connected to my body. I'm seeing the physical results of what I've been putting in as well. Again, it could be 8 to 10 months is what I feel mostly. And they just see you in this way, and I feel like it's like, you ain't F me, you F the old body. So there could be something about them too looking at you, and it's like, look at them now, look at her now by Selena Gomez. Self-love, learning to forgive oneself and others. I feel like that's a big thing that you've been doing too. Healing through shadow work. Healing the inner child with shadow work, recognizing triggers that affected them from moving forward. Okay, why are they popping up though? Why are they popping up? Magical muse. They're probably creating something that has to do with you. Could be art, could be music, could be something wordless. I almost feel like it's a way for them to express all the things that they couldn't say. Watching. All right. It's been a very major theme here. It's interesting because I feel like it's picked up stronger lately. Tumultuous lives. Again, the lives that you lead go very differently, but it doesn't have to. And I feel like they're also realizing too, it's kind of like if they live in like sci-fi or like fantasy, to where it's like, there's just this drama, like, why does this have to be like a Shakespeare novel? Like, we don't have to, this doesn't have to be Nicholas Sparks. We don't need to have this like devastating loss. It didn't have to be weird, but maybe it did. I'm just saying they kind of live like, it's giving, if you ask me how I'm doing, I would say I'm doing just fine. When a heart breaks, don't break even. Or what's that one? I'm on the corner. If she changes her mind, this is the first place she will go. If one day you wake up and find that you're missing me, what are they going to do even if you did come back? Illusions. They're an illusion. They live in illusion. They live in delusion. They could even live in fantasy land. They could... My obsessive thinking gets the best of me. I allow my emotions and others to control and dictate my actions towards our connection. I finally understand to trust my intuition. Be careful of drama and falseness, being deceived by appearances of people, extreme emotions, and idealizing a situation and or avoiding a difficult truth. If you were to get back into it, I feel like you would last maybe a month or two and you'd be like, what the fuck am I doing here? What am I doing here? It reminds me of when my friend said, what's a princess doing in the gutter for fun? And I was like, about me. I was like... They're creating something for you to see, though.